Hello class, welcome. Your teacher couldn't make it today, so I'm your substitute. My name's Che Pollock. Che's just fine. If you have any questions, raise your hand. Your teacher essentially just gave me PowerPoint to go over, and we'll get to that in a moment. Sorry, our classroom looks like this. It's going under some renovation, so it might look like an apartment, but it's fine, we'll work through it. So I'll pull up this PowerPoint here, and you guys are learning about this. This is your topic. Okay. So our topic for today is a hot dog sandwich. Let's talk about how this began here. So back in 2011, there was a food blog post made that included a poll, which might be kind of hard to see up here, but it was a poll on whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not. Now the results of those were so close that people took to different sections of the internet and began debating it, making it a widespread debate for a while. This was a decade ago and I'm still talking about it, so it continues on to this day. Now, a hot dog is a very contentious topic throughout history. I mean, we're going back to its invention in Germany, where we're still not sure which city specifically it began in. That's not the topic today. We're going over whether it's a sandwich. Now, the modern American hot dog began around 1864. A German immigrant began selling them on the boardwalk in New York City. And they've spread everywhere now. I mean, they're a cookout favorite. You'll find them in sports stadiums. You'll find them in gas stations on the little rollers. Now, the heart of this debate, it revolves around the definition of a sandwich and not so much of a hot dog. We kind of know what a hot dog is. It's more of whether it falls into the category of sandwich. Now, we need to find a definition that can give us a better insight. So first we'll be taking a look at the USDA. Now, that's a beautiful photo. I'm proud of that one. That's a good find. I don't know where your teacher got it, but yeah, that's great. So the USDA, their definition that they gave in 2024 was from their food standard and labeling policy book, and they defined it as 2 slices of bread, or the top and bottom sections of each sliced bun that encloses meat or poultry. Now, not a great definition. Well, this would include a hot dog. That would exclude anything from, I mean, peanut butter jelly sandwich here, not a sandwich. Classic favorite, grilled cheese, not a sandwich. Get it out of here. We don't want it. So, for that reason, I think we're looking a bit too narrow here, and we should move on to a different definition that we can find, and one that's probably a little more broad. So we're going to move on to the tax man. So more specifically, it was the New York Department of Taxation, and they posted a bulletin on, So how this came about was essentially to determine what they could tax. So say you bought bread, cheese, deli meat, all separate. You buy those, you can make yourself a sandwich. Now, if you went to the store and you wanted to buy a pre-made sandwich, that is taxable. So they gave a definition to give clearer direction on what could be taxed at a store. Now, the definition that they gave was cold and hot, prepared and ready to be eaten, whether made on bread, bagels, rolls, and pitas, and wraps or otherwise, and regardless of the filling or number of layers. This is quite broad. This would include anything from, it does include a hot dog, but this would also include burritos, tacos, This would include pizzas, even toast with butter. I mean, there's no saying that it has to be in between two, it just has to be on bread. I mean, for God's sake, people. Pizza. Is this a sandwich? I don't think so. That's not a sandwich. Now, again, I don't agree with this one either, and it would make sense for the Department of Taxation to want to get as much revenue as possible. So obviously their definition is going to be as broad as possible. Now, there was even, to elaborate on some of this, there was even another taxation bulletin which was in Colorado, and that one came in under the same circumstances of trying to clear up what could be taxed, and they included mozzarella sticks, jalapeno poppers, and even chicken wings. Now, I don't think that it's unreasonable to think that chicken wings and jalapeno poppers being classified as sandwiches is a bit, that's reaching. So I think the best thing to do from here is to try to look towards something that's more social. So I think in that situation, it would be best to look at restaurants. As chefs cook food, they make menus, and going off of those menus, we should have a good idea of what we're ordering. You might find it weird to see a chicken wing sandwich, and if a plate of chicken wings came, I think we'd all be a little confused by that. So, looking at a restaurant, that's the one I worked in. I don't know how your teacher got a copy of this photo, but anyways, we'll keep moving forward. So what we really need here is, what would be great is if we had a governing body weigh in on how a restaurant uses the term sandwich. And would you look at that, if we go to Worcester, Massachusetts, we got just that. Now, this all came from a shopping mall. In this particular shopping mall, what came about was Panera and the management of the shopping mall got into an agreement. So this agreement essentially created a monopoly for Panera on the ability to sell sandwiches. Now, the reason that malls sometimes do this is it works for the customer, and that it gives some variety, and also it keeps the business from directly competing themselves out of business. So that's how this agreement came to be. And it fell under contention when the mall allowed a Qdoba to rent a space. Now, I don't know if you can see much of this. You're far in the back there. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't see any sandwiches here. I'm not sure what Panera was necessarily thinking, but obviously they saw this gentleman making a sandwich and said, no, none of that. We had an agreement. So eventually this moved to court between the Panera and the shopping mall, and that was the local Supreme Court of Massachusetts, and that was ruled over by Jeffrey Locke. Now, the conclusion to this, it ruled that Panera, or rather the shopping mall, was not in breach of their agreement with Panera. Now, he cited a few interesting sources within his closing argument, and one was from a Cambridge chef, Chris Slicenger, and he was quoted on the stand as saying, "I know of no chef or culinary historian who would call a burrito a sandwich. Indeed, the notion would be absurd to any credible chef or culinary historian." Now, that kind of sets up the basis of it being socially accepted, and coming from a professional chef who has a bit of, degree on the matter, is pretty convincing. Now, he also quotes Merriam-Webster's dictionary, the 3rd edition, and that definition is given as 2 thin pieces of bread, usually buttered, with a thin layer of meat, cheese, or savory mixture spread between them. Now, I think this definition is a great sweet spot. I think when we all think of typical sandwiches, I mean, whether it's a regular deli sandwich like you'd get at Subway Firehouse, those are sliced meats in between bread, usually something spread on them, whether a sauce or whatnot. When we look towards peanut butter and jellies, spread on 2 pieces of bread. Cheese in between, that would include our grilled cheese, that would be perfect. But most importantly for our discussion today is that does not include a hot dog, as it is not 2 thin slices of bread, but rather a split bun. It is not spread between the bun. I mean, you could maybe spread the sauces, but typically they're just put right on. And as I have here. Now, also, the layer of meat or mixture in between, it definitely more of a mixture. It is not thin though, it is kind of a log. So I think with this definition, we would find that no bit of a hot dog can be contained within this definition, and I believe that as a society, going off of what definitions we have currently and what sources have told us so far, that as for now, obviously language is ever changing, and as are definitions, this definition has stayed about the same from the case till now. Like I said, it was cited, the case was around 2006, but moving towards the modern 2024 definition, this is it, and it stayed basically the same with a minor couple of word changes, but none of them different. This is it. This is the definition of today. So, as for now, for society, I believe that we can all agree, hopefully, finally, once and for all, that this that I have here is not a sandwich. I believe that that will conclude our slideshow. Indeed it does. I am glad that we've all been here to learn today. Thank you guys for the good questions. That was great. At this moment, I will let you guys free. I don't have anything else for you. Just don't tell your teacher I let you out early. I'm gonna go enjoy this hot dog, and you guys go enjoy your weekend and holiday. Thank you. Have a good one.